morning, everyone. If you're watching this, then that obviously means that we've had to cancel our Sunday morning worship service because of the snow and the very chilly weather. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. I was going to record it in the sanctuary, but the Wi-Fi connection wasn't very good, so I moved down to the Zadok Casey room to do this. You know, at this point, we're still a bit unsure about what's going to transpire over the next 2 to 3 days, but nonetheless, I hope that you are safe and well and warm on this very chilly Sunday morning. Last Sunday, I preached on the letter of James. You may recall that I hope to get 2 or 3 sermons out of this very short but very intriguing book from the New Testament. As I said, James is very practical. It's very much to the point. James doesn't mince words in what he says. In its 108 verses, they're like 59 imperatives, statements indicating that this is how we should act. This is what we should do as followers of Jesus Christ. Before we begin, I want to share a quote about the letter of James from Bishop Willimon that I think kind of captures the essence and the flavor of what James is about. Bishop Willimon says this: "In much of the church, salvation is something that you believe or feel. In James, salvation is when you talk and walk like Jesus." James exemplifies the communal, congregational, practical consequences when a congregation dares to obey the one who commanded, "Follow me." So I want you to hear that clearly. In James, salvation is when you talk and walk like Jesus. Last week, my sermon was on what we say matters, about the power of our words and our speech. And this morning, looking again at James, I want us to consider that what we do matters. And I want to share a couple of passages from James that speak of this. First, from chapter 1, verses 22 through 27. James says this: "You must be doers of the word and not only hearers who mislead themselves. Those who hear but don't do the word are like those who look at their faces in a mirror. They look at themselves, walk away, and immediately forget what they were like. But there are those who study the perfect law, the law of freedom, and continue to do it. They don't listen and then forget, but they put it into practice in their lives. They'll be blessed in whatever they do. If those who think they are religious don't control what they say, they mislead themselves. Their religion is worthless. True religion, the kind that is pure and faultless before God the Father, is this: to care for orphans and widows in their difficulties and to keep the world from contaminating us." Then let's jump over to James chapter 2 and a little bit longer passage from verses 14 through 26. James continues saying, "My brothers and sisters, what good is it if people say they have faith but do nothing to show it? Claiming to have faith can't save anyone, can it? Imagine a brother or sister who is naked and never has enough food to eat. What if one of you said, 'Go in peace, stay warm, have a nice meal'? What good is it if you don't actually give them what their body needs? In the same way, faith is dead when it doesn't result in faithful activity. Someone might claim, 'You have faith and I have action.' But how can I see your faith apart from your actions? Instead, I'll show you my faith by putting it into practice in faithful action. It's good that you believe that God is one. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble with fear. Are you so slow? Do you need to be shown that faith without actions has no value at all? Just as the body without breath is dead, So also faith without good works is dead. The word of the Lord. Would you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength, our Redeemer. True confession. I happen to think that Larry the Cable Guy is pretty hilarious. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? The redneck comedian who is often not very politically correct. A few examples from his vast repertoire of work. He says, I've only been to these foreign countries, Canada, LA, and Miami. He says, that show Biggest Loser is a dumb show. If I wanted to see fat people struggle with their weight, I'd go to my family reunion. I love this one. Remember, half the people you know are below average. He's not wrong. Larry says, I'm on the diet where you eat vegetables and drink wine. That's a good diet. I lost 10 pounds and my driver's license. And how about this great line? I was madder than a midget with a yo-yo. Bada boom. You surely know what his signature tagline is, don't you? What is it? Get her done. Get her done. Larry the Cable Guy. As I read the letter of James and how it speaks to me, I think it could be boiled down to this. Get her done. We just heard what James says about the necessity of putting your faith into action. You must be doers of the word and not only hearers who mislead themselves. In other words, you're just fooling yourself if your faith doesn't compel you to action in some way. Here's how Eugene Peterson's paraphrase of that passage puts it. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you are a listener when you are anything but, letting the word go in one ear and out the other. Act on what you hear. Act on what you hear. What good is it, James asks, if people say they have faith but do nothing to show it? Claiming to have faith can't save anyone, can it? And he even gives an example. You encounter someone who's naked and starving. It's not enough for you or me, as followers of Jesus, to say, good luck, stay warm, I'm praying for you. Faith doesn't work that way. Then a few verses later, James offers that classic line saying, just as the body without breath is dead, so also faith without good works is dead. You can't have one without the other. Faith without works is dead. It is lifeless. This is why James challenges me so much. This is why I really have a love-hate relationship with the letter of James. It keeps me honest. You know, personally, I absolutely love talking about God. I love discussing, even arguing theology and points of doctrine. I love reading books about faith and religion. I love thinking about God, sharing ideas about God with other people. But it counts for nothing if it doesn't translate into meaningful action on my part. It's worthless if it doesn't shape your life and how you live in relationship with others. Do you hear me? And so many of us like to argue about how right we are about God and our Christian faith. We love to defend our own views and beliefs and opinions about God. But James directly points out that your faith can't just be lip service to God. You say that God is one, and you're absolutely right, James says. But guess what? Even the demons believe that God is one, and the demons tremble in fear. Yes, even the demons believe the right things. Truth be told, A lot of folks with great conviction will say they believe in the Bible. But do they? Do we really put into action what the Bible says? Are we doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with our God? Are we caring for widows and orphans in their distress, which James tells us is true religion, essentially caring for the most vulnerable among us? Lots of folks like to say they believe in Jesus, and they'll proudly boast of it. They even have bumper stickers and memes on social media to prove it. But do we take seriously those things that Jesus commands us to do? Like loving our neighbor, visiting the sick and those in jail, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked. How seriously do we take Jesus when he says to pray for those who persecute us? Or when he says to love our enemies? Or even when he advises us to sell what we have and give it to the poor and follow him? If you say you believe in Jesus, then just how is that shown through your living and through your actions? Now, some will say, I do put my faith into action. I go to church every Sunday. I give generously to the church. I serve on committees and on boards when asked, which is all well and good, and thank you for your service and your generosity. But you've surely heard the saying that sitting in a church doesn't make you a Christian any more than sitting in a garage makes you a car. When it comes to our faith, when it comes to following Jesus as our Lord, our boss, if you will, lip service alone doesn't mean squat. James pointedly tells us, which is why James challenges me so much, which is why I have a love-hate relationship with this letter. It keeps me honest, and it for sure keeps me humble. My friends, let me ask, does your faith compel you to action? Does your faith show itself in your deeds and your actions, whatever deeds, great or small they may be? Does your faith in Jesus as Lord make any difference in the way you live your life? Or is it little more than lip service to God? Is it just boasting or bragging to others about what we believe? I myself hear James saying quite clearly, quite simply, get her done. Just do it. Don't just talk the talk. Be sure to walk the walk. Or as someone else has said, we must translate our creeds into deeds. What do you think about that? Reggie McNeil wrote a great little book about a decade ago that I've referred to several times before. It's titled, Get Off Your Donkey. The subtitle is Help Somebody and Help Yourself. He takes the title from the story of the Good Samaritan in Luke 10, suggesting that when the Samaritan came across that beaten, bloodied man on the road to Jericho, the Samaritan gentleman had to get off his donkey and do something to help this injured traveler. Here's one great quote from that book. Just saying something is important to us doesn't make it so. What we do is what we believe. What we do is what we believe. He also says this, you were created on purpose for a purpose. The reason God created you is to give you the life He wants you to have, to share His life with you. Your purpose, then, is to share that life with those around you, including and especially with those who need the blessings of the life you enjoy. This involves both telling people good news about God's gift for them, as well as doing good works to demonstrate that gift. You see, faith without works is dead. It does little to talk about God if your actions don't match up. And McNeil provides a number of illustrations of folks who have dared to get off their donkey to help their fellow human beings. One, an IRS agent who retired not to sit around the house or just play golf, but to use his skills in home repair to provide new roofs on the homes of low-income folks who could not afford such a major expense. It's grown into a ministry that's now 30 years old and has since provided new roofs to thousands and thousands of families. And he accomplished this by offering summer camps for youth who go and learn new skills and then assist in this important need. Pretty amazing. McNeil tells of a friend named Sally. As a first-year social worker in a county hospital, fresh out of graduate school with a master's degree, she came face to face with what McNeil calls the dark underbelly of poverty in our culture. Yes, Sally strongly believed in personal responsibility, but her values were challenged when she discovered the reality of institutional poverty and the actual life and death struggles so many in poverty face, who find themselves held captive to the system. Now, she continues to advocate for personal responsibility, but she now does so with incredible empathy and compassion for those she serves and helps, instead of judging them and blaming them for their circumstances. Get off your donkey. Get her done. How does your faith show itself in your actions? Does your talk match your walk? How are we translating our creeds into deeds? Yes, I think James is right when he says, you must be doers of the word, and not only hearers who mislead themselves. Karen Armstrong is a well-known scholar of religion. I like the way that she helpfully reframes the word religion. Listen carefully. I don't expect you to agree with this entirely, but perhaps it will challenge you as it did me. She says this: religion is not about having to believe or accept certain difficult propositions. Instead, religion is doing things that change you. Religion is really about doing things that change you. That's what challenges me. You know, we've made religion into something that only makes us feel safe and comfortable when, in fact, the religion Jesus shows us is often risky and uncomfortable. And honestly, as I grow older and as I hopefully continue to mature in my faith, I find myself worrying less about getting my words right about God, and I worry more about getting my life, my behavior, my actions right with God. Am I allowing Christ to guide me and to show himself through my own life, through what I do as well as in what I say? Am I allowing Christ to use me to do the hard things that Jesus asks us to do? Caring for the vulnerable, loving the enemy, welcoming the stranger. Am I surrendering my own will so that God's will might be done in and through me? You see, my friends, just as the body without breath is dead, so also faith without good works is dead. I want to close with a prayer of St. Teresa of Avila. She was a 16th century Spanish mystic. I love this prayer, and I've shared it with you before. Perhaps you might close your eyes and meditate on these words. Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks with compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes. You are his body. Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks with compassion on this world. Christ has no body now on earth. Friends, stay safe, stay warm in this frigid weather. May God's blessing be yours this day.